Good evening, everyone. Glad to see you all here. You could just give us a few more minutes. We just want to get some more of our members and others on. Thanks so much.
Anybody speaking? Want to speak? I'm hearing like some buzzing, hissing kind of sound. Whispering.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Okay.
Sorry.
Good evening.
Got me nervous for a minute.
No, I spoke to Miss George. That's they had somebody pull the emergency brake on the A train at 42nd Street. So they were running delayed. So when I came upstairs to get on the bus, so it's like, I'm sorry. I'm sweating. I am sweaty. So excuse me. I come running.
You're excused, princess.
Yes, sorry.
All is well. You're
You
here.
can't see
Yeah.
sweat anyhow. You know.
While I'm coming up the stairs, I spoke to Miss George and yeah. So and traffic is crazy downtown. I took a cab, but it didn't help the situation. Yep.
Hello, this is Gail. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, Gail.
Thank you.
Andrea Ferris is here.
Hi, Andrea.
Hi.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our CB8 board meeting. I'm your Sue Weatherspoon, Chair of Community Board 8, and we're glad to see you here. I would like to formally call the meeting to order. So can we please do a roll call? Princess?
Ms. George is gonna call it while I get myself together. Thanks.
And Mr. Witherwax or Julia Neal, I don't have it handy.
Give me one moment. I opened up the wrong file. Sorry. Okay, so following the precedent ahead of me, when I hear your answer, I will say okay and thank you. Kirmany Allison. Glenda Andrews.
Kimberly Allison is present. They have to unmute. Okay.
Present.
Thank you. Glenda Andrews. Desmond Atkins. Lisa Atkinson.
Present.
Thank you. Princess Ben James.
Present.
Thank you. Julia Boyd. Gail Branch Muhammad.
Here.
Thank you. Jerry Buchanan. John Buckholes. Robert Callahan. Helen Coley. Nora Daniel. Aisha Dotson. Diane Duke. Kevin Farley.
Here.
Thank you. Andrea Ferris. Fred Frazier. Drew Gabriel.
Here.
Andrea Ferris is present also.
Thank you. Thank you. Tamika Gibbs.
Present.
Thank you. Najani Granville. Igenie Harris. Thank you. Igenie Harris Blendman.
Present.
Thank you. Marva Henry. Zerzima Jordan.
Present.
Thank you. Regina Kinsey. Francis Langley.
Present.
Thank you. Sarah Lazar.
Here.
Thank you. Murray Lemaine. Elaine Mahoney. Quasi Menza.
Here.
Thank you. Calvis Mickelsteins.
Here.
Mr. Mickelsteins, is it Mickelsteins or Mickelsteins?
Mickelsteins, thank you.
Thank you so much. Alicia Nozenzo.
Present.
Thank you. Fior Ortiz Joyner.
Present.
Thank you. Robert Puka.
Present.
Thank you. Yaya Raji. Celine Rosado. Ms. Rosado, was that a present? A yes? Is that an answer? No? Okay. Adam Sachs, he's excused. Brian Saunders. Meredith Staten. Carmicia Superville.
Meredith Staten is present.
Thank you. Audrey Tate Hall. Mark Thurton.
Here.
Thank you. Greg Todd. Ethel Tyus. Gib Vaconi.
Tyus is present.
Thank
I
you,
am
Ms.
present.
Bites. Thank you, Mr. Vacconi. Eves Villas. Kimberly Watson. Irsa Weatherspoon.
Present.
Thank you, Robert Witherwax.
Present.
Thank you, Deborah Young.
Present.
Thank you, and Ms. Zuniga is absent. We technically don't have a quorum. We have exactly 25 members present.
And what's needed, Ms. Neal?
26. We have 50 members.
Glenda
Okay, thank
Andrews
you.
is present. Glenda Andrews is present.
Thank you, Ms. Andrews. We now have a quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Neal. The next on the item is the acceptance of September's minutes. Unfortunately, we don't have that available. Secretary has not sent that forth as of yet. So we will table this item. Next up, I just want to mention about correspondence. Remember that we have our monthly CB8 newsletter that will be sent out to the mailing list. If you have any information on community events, etc., that you'd like to be published in this newsletter, please submit to the district office by the second Monday of each month. And also please refer to the CB8 website for information. Next up is our new Deputy Inspector, Tony Brown, Commanding Officer of the 77th Precinct. I'd like to introduce to you Deputy Brown. Can you say some words here?
Hey, good afternoon, everybody.
Okay, I'm gonna
I'm
gonna send it.
Deputy-
I sent the minutes since Monday.
excuse me,
But I'm gonna send
can
it.
you mute yourself, Princess? Just please mute yourself. We do have our deputy that's about to speak. Thank you.
Sorry.
Hey, thank you for that. Thank you, Ms. Witherspoon. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to introduce myself to the rest of the community board. Thank you. This is my first introduction to the community board. I met a few people already throughout since I've been here since June, and got a chance to work with them since I've been here. From Ms. Witherspoon to Ms. George to Mr. Saunders and Mr. Thurton. They've been tremendous help since I've been here and helping me guide me through the community, and been a great assistance to helping me guide me through the community and helping me out and working together, which is very important. Like Ms. Witherspoon said, I'm the new commanding officer of the 77th Precinct. My name is Tony Brown. Officially got here in June 14th. And I'm one of the new commanding officers around the city that got precinct by pretty much the big interaction or big participation from the community, interviewing the commanding officers and get a chance for the community to pick the new commanding officer going forward. And I'd like to thank the community for picking me to be the next commanding officer. It really means a lot. I really do appreciate it. And since I've been here, I'm gonna give you my all every single day. And thank you for choosing me to be the new commanding officer over here. Just give you a little introduction about myself. I've been on the job 16 years, and before coming to the 77th Precinct, I was the commanding officer of Transit District 2 in Lower Manhattan, which goes mainly from 34th Street all the way down to Lower Manhattan. I was there for about a year and a half. But before that, I was working as an executive officer in Brooklyn, various precincts, from the 75th Precinct, which is East New York, to the 81st Precinct, which is Bed-Stuy, the 83rd as well, Bushwick, and I also worked in the 79th Precinct, which is the other side of Bed-Stuy. So I'm very familiar with Brooklyn, but I'm glad to be here and get a chance to interact with the people in Crown Heights and get to know the culture and get to interact with other people in here. A couple of my main focus as soon as I got here, I want everybody to know that I really want to focus on and concentrate on is going to be 4 main things that really sticks out that I really want to focus on is gun violence, gangs, and the youth, and working with the community and make sure that bridge is very strong. Those are the 3 areas I want to work on since I got here, and I'll continue to work on that. So really, that's one of my 4 main goals, and as you see, there's a lot of progress we've done so far since I've been here. From working focusing on the gun violence. This past summer, we had a reduction in shootings. and an increase of gun arrests. And those gun arrests were helped out. It was really mainly focusing on the worst of the worst of the gang members, very high up gang members, or people who are drivers of violence in the community. And by working with the DA's office and other partners, we were able to be successful to focus on those main drivers of crime and keeping them in, so which led to a reduction of violence in the summer, which helped out. The youth, something we did a couple of programs throughout the summer to address some of the youth from to get them to participate with increased community interaction with the police, from having basketball games, having a volleyball camp for the female youth, and thinking of other. And I'm currently thinking about other programs to figure out and work to try to attract more youth into to interact with the police and take away that stigma that every time they have a police interaction, it might be negative, to get that away from them. So I'm definitely looking forward to work with the community, give me any other ideas, and what other things we could collaborate as well. And also working with the community is very, very important to me. Since I've been here, I always made sure I go out there, try to reach out to everybody in the community, let them know I'm accessible, I'm open to ideas, and I'm there to listen to see what's going on in the community, see how I can help out the community. I'm always open and very humble, and I'll try to figure something out, try to help you out as much as I can. Like I said, those are my 4 main areas that I really want to focus on while I'm here. And I'm definitely looking forward to work with the community, which is, like I said, one of my main focuses. And I'm glad to be part of, get a chance to introduce myself and give you a chance to get to know me as well, too. And also, I'd like to let everybody know, please, if you get a chance, please, if you want to know a little bit more about crime or what's going on, at least in your community, please come in and join our community council. The next community council meeting we're going to have is going to be November 8th at St. Teresa's at 5-6 Street Sterling Place. We're going to have a hybrid where some of they're going to be on Zoom and also in person. You can decide which one you want to go to, but those are the options for the November community council meeting. For more information, just follow our Twitter page, or you can reach out to our community affair officer for more information in regards. And again, thank you. Appreciate the time you gave me, Ms. Witherspoon, to introduce myself. And I look forward to working with everybody in the community. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Deputy Inspector. We appreciate you, and we're glad to be co-collaborators. We look forward to hearing more from you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate it, Ms.
thanks
Witherspoon.
very much.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is Mr. Harold Miller from the NYC Charter Revision Commission's Racial Justice Commission Division, and he will present on the work of the commission thus far and seek feedback from the community. Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Chair. Hello, everyone. Again, I'm Harold Miller, Deputy Executive Director for the Racial Justice Commission. I lead External Affairs Outreach. It's good to see some familiar names on the Zoom, and appreciate the opportunity to present this evening. Don't mind me, that's my 7-year-old in the background, supposed to be doing his homework. So this evening, I wanted just to share with the board about the work that the Racial Justice Commission is doing. I'll see if there's an opportunity I could share a presentation. I promise to go through it quickly, if that's possible. If I could get a share function, have share function.
And I will give you the ball. 1 second.
No problem, thank you. And then while Ms. George is putting this together, just want to express my appreciation to her and the entire team for accommodating me this evening. So it was I did not RSVP, but still made it to the agenda. So thank you.
Whenever you're ready.
All right, there we go. Got it. Okay. So the Racial Justice Commission was founded back in March by the mayor. Wanted to empower a charter revision commission to look at racial inequities in city government. And the appointment of 11 commissioners that included our chair, Jennifer Jones Austin, who is the CEO of Protestant Welfare Agencies. And the vice chair is Henry Garrido, who is the executive director of DC 37. And in April, they began meeting. The charter, for those who may not know, is our city's constitution. It set out the structures, powers, and responsibilities that governs our city. And the charter, what it does is a few things. One, it tells them what powers they can use. The political offices and agencies is the them I'm mentioning. What they need to do for New Yorkers is duties, and how they must process, how they must carry out their work, the processes, the budgeting, the procurement. And then how New Yorkers must be included or be consulted in that process, whether it be public participation like our community boards or voting. The charter revision process is a comprehensive review of the charter. It will conduct a review of the charter itself, reports its findings, recommend proposals to amend the charter, and then draft proposed amendments to the charter for consideration by the voters. So the proposals that this commission will come up with, you'll have an opportunity to vote on them in November of 2022. So not this November, but next November. Is a 2-year commission. The commission may also invite New Yorkers and experts to share their experiences and ideas, which you have done and which we are continuing to do now. The other members of the Racial Justice Commission include Kay Bain, Anna Bermudez, Reverend Fred Davey, Laurie Daniel Favors, Derek Hamilton, Chris Q, Yesenia Mata, Phil Thompson, and Joanne Yu. Our mission is to is empowered with the legal authority of the Charter Revision Commission. Will seize the transformational potential of this moment in history to identify and propose structural changes and significant policy reforms that will advance racial justice and equity and begin to dismantle structural racism for all New Yorkers. This work is necessary because systemic racism has been and continues to shape our reality. Our vision for racial equity is the worth, talents, and contributions of all people in society. Our value recognized race is not a determinant of economic, political, social, or physiological outcomes, as neither confers privilege nor denies opportunities. When we talk about systemic racism, we're talking about, in America, the embedded in structural, institutional, cultural norms and conditions designed and upheld to deny power, access, and opportunity to Black, Indigenous, and people of color in order to maintain an inequitable society that's structured to advantage whiteness. And I gave you a little bit of our timeline, but so they started meeting in April. In July, we started to have our public engagement phase. And just last week, we released our first report that gave an insight to what we have heard thus far from the public and from various experts, and kind of set forth the framework of the work that we're going to do carrying forward, which I'll get into in a second. The public engagement is continuing now. This is part of it, going around to various community boards, civic groups, holding our own informational and input sessions. And, with a December deadline, December of this year, to release a final report and to submit ballot questions for you to vote on come next November. So our framework is around structural, institutional, and cultural. Structural, the foundational laws and values that set up power, access, and opportunity. Institutional and cultural is the policies and practices and decision-making embedded in the day-to-day workings of agencies. When they talk about the instruments of racism, we talk about power, access, and opportunity. Power, the ability to make and influence decisions that impact people's lives and define which decisions are prioritized. Access, the ability to procure and benefit from services, resources, and capital. And opportunity is the ability to take meaningful advantage of power and access to achieve prosperity. Our mission, support, and methodology is creating capacity, the readiness to engage, participate, and take advantage of opportunity, access, and power. And then ensuring accountability, systemic and institutional mechanisms of accountability that ensure changes are made effectively and meaningfully, and affect consequences if they are not. So our public engagement, as I started to talk about, we met with various experts. We had what's called issue area panels. So we met with leaders in healthcare, in education, housing, in economics, in early childhood foundations, law and justice, civic engagement, political engagement, and then intersectionality of various identities. Though all that and the input sessions are on our YouTube channel, as youtube.com/NYC Racial Justice Commission, where you can watch that, the commission meetings, all our public input sessions. And our public input sessions were borough-based and virtual. We held one in each borough, and then we held a couple virtually, including a youth one back on September 10th. And the Brooklyn one took place at Bethany Baptist back on August 4th. So the themes from the public engagement is too many for me to go through each one, but talk about community power, talk about budget justice, talk about remedying disparities in race neutral making decisions, and making sure we had fair representation in government, or some of what was covered. The interim staff report, as mentioned earlier, compiles what we have heard from the public to date, outlines the 6 patterns and inequities during an engagement process, which I'll get into in the next slide, and what to expect from the commission in the months ahead. So the 6 patterns of inequity that we identified during our first round of input sessions and speaking to experts is the following: the inequity in quality of services that promote social and emotional well-being, the inequity in work advancement and wealth building, inequity within and across neighborhoods that inhibits thriving individuals, families, and communities, marginalization and over-criminalization of Black, Indigenous people of color, and the communities they come from, inequity in representation and decision-making, and enforcement and accountability of government and entities. So we already talked about what the next steps are. At this point, we are continuing to seek input from New Yorkers. We want folks to, answer 2 questions primarily. One, those 6 inequities, which one of those has the greatest impact on your community? And then 2, what are the solutions that you feel can address those inequities? You can answer for all 6, or you can answer for one that you feel very strongly about. And we are looking, for many New Yorkers to participate as much as possible. And the best way to do it is to go on our website, which is nyc.gov/racialjustice. You can also email us at racialjustice@charter.nyc.gov. And you can always follow us on our social media channels. On Twitter is @racialjusticeNY. And then on Instagram and Facebook, you go to Racial Justice NYC. So I thought I saw something in chat where we wanted to see the inequities again. So I'll leave that up if folks have any questions.
If we have any questions, can you please raise your hand in the in your screen, your personal screen? Okay, I don't see any hands.
I have a question. I couldn't find the the particular
Go ahead, Mr. Mensah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You mentioned something about overcriminalization of people of color. So when I read that, from my take, literally, that tells me that people are being thrown in prison that are innocent, overframed, as opposed to legitimate arrest, legitimate conviction. So please help me understand what you mean by overcriminalization of people of color. What does that mean?
Well, it means several things. One is there are you can start with in a particular community how communities are policed. You know, we have a long time in the city stop and frisk that existed, still exists to a certain extent today, but at a point was as a tool that was deemed to be over criminalizing particular communities around the city. We have our in schools, school safety agents that may use tactics or bring in police into matters of school discipline matters, and sometimes we have found out from our testimony that children of color face harsher criminal outcomes than white children over the same matters, whether it be like fighting or class disruptions, things like that. So those are like some examples of what is talked about when people testified about overcriminalization. And I just want to be clear, like what was written in the report is from what we heard. And so not necessarily every single word that in the report is like supported or endorsed by all the commissioners. But what we wanted to show is that what have New Yorkers have told us thus far, the patterns in equity, and we tried to categorize them and came up with these 6 categories overall.
One follow-up. Would you say in aggregate that there are more shootings in, say, communities of people of color, quote unquote, or white communities? More shootings and murders, gun violence. Where are there more?
I mean, the data shows obviously they're in communities of color.
So wouldn't it make sense to deal with that?
Yeah.
Also, to say, so why are you talking about overcriminalization when the stats clearly, unfortunately, the stats warrant this type of, of course, disproportionate action to save lives?
Well, I mean,
As
I
I
think
say,
not to debate the point, but I think there is a segment of New Yorkers that have spoken to us that that will disagree with that connection, and will actually argue that overcriminalization kind of feeds into the criminal activity of communities. And if we're not investing in services, not investing in making sure that we have equitable resources in our community, that it will lead to it will come to a self-prophecy that you'll have increased criminal activity when you divest from communities, and
but that wasn't
and
the
over
issue.
policing is part of it.
That wasn't the issue. You're talking about resources versus policing. I want to make a formal debate, but see, I hear this all the time. And the sad part of it, you would not acknowledge that there's more shootings. You're saying now more cops mean more shootings, which doesn't make sense. Does not make sense. Yeah, we had a similar type of. I'm sorry.
No, no, it's okay, and I hear your passion. I just, Mr. Miller has left his contact information, and also, Mr. Miller, if you could make sure that the district office has a copy of your presentation, we would appreciate that.
Please.
Yes.
Okay,
Please.
and then all your contact information, and people can always reach you offline. Okay.
Thank you.
More than welcome to.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Mensah. Any more questions? Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Miller, for stopping by and for this valuable information. And as I said, if you could just make sure that the district office has a copy, we would appreciate it.
Thank you.
Ms. Weatherspoon, I see a few hands, but I'm not sure if the questions are related to Captain Inspector Brown or Mr. Miller. From Jack Robinson, I see a hand up.
Mr. Robinson, did you have a question or comment for Mr. Miller? Okay. Do you see any more, Ms. George?
I do not.
Okay. All right. So we're going to move on. Thank you so much. Thanks again. Okay. So I want to take this time to acknowledge and invite our officials, our elected officials, and or their representatives to make a comment at this time.
Good evening. This is Nadine Gale from Assemblywoman Latrice Walker's office. How is everyone?
Wonderful. Welcome.
Thank you. I also live in Community Board 8, and I just Mr. Miller's presentation was good. And today they also had a hearing up in Albany with regards to the selling of bullets. So there is a misnomer. There are many misnomers about crime, and to add to Mr. Miller's point, if you get a chance to rewatch the hearing, many of them were questioned by several people in the assembly. You know, we got to question people in the police force and some of the statistics that they continually say. And there's a lot of different, you know, everyone has a different goal, but it was a very interesting hearing if anyone has time to pay attention to that. I'm also not sure how many people were affected by Ida, but the closing for filing with FEMA will be November the 5th. So if you have not filed for any FEMA assistance, I do encourage you to do so. They are not coming out to do physical visits. They are taking your word over the phone. And, you know, I do encourage everyone to be honest about what damages they have. And they have been very quick with the disbursements of funds. That's pretty much it for me. Once again, Assemblywoman Walker's office, please feel free to call us, 718-342-1256.
Thank you so much, Nadine. Ms. Robinson?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Kim Robinson, and I'm representing Council Member Alika Ampry Samuel. I bring greetings on behalf of the council member, wishing everyone, especially with this upcoming Halloween, to be safe, and please wear your mask. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Mr. Ross, please.
Hi, everyone. My name is Orlando Ross. I'm with Congresswoman Yvette Clarke's office. I wanted to thank the gentleman for putting forth such an intuitive.
Can you speak up just a little bit louder? We're losing
Can you hear me
Mr.
now?
Ross.
Can you
Much
hear me?
better. Thank you. Much better.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Orlando Ross. I'm with Congresswoman. I'm the district rep for Congresswoman Yvette Clarke's office. I'm putting my information in the chat. I don't know if anyone actually caught our last night comprehensive look at human gun trafficking and tobacco trafficking. It speaks directly to the iron pipeline of guns coming into our community and making sure that we have the understanding of how to unpack it and try to find the correlation between human trafficking, gun trafficking, and tobacco trafficking. This is on the tail end of the gentleman that just gave his presentation. We do have the whole entire presentation in its entirety. I'm going to put it in the chat. And of course, you can always contact our office should you need any requests. Keep in mind also that there is a stimulus infrastructure bill that's about to be passed shortly, and that will impact jobs in the area of infrastructure and also making sure that young people will have jobs as well. So I'm a firm believer, a job stops a bullet any day, anytime. And if our young people are employed or have resources, they would not need to go around shooting other people. But that's another issue. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Ross, for the information. Mr. Rothblatt?
Hi, good evening, everyone. I want to wish everyone a great Hispanic Heritage Month. I also want to honor the both Domestic Violence Month and or Intimate Partner Violence Month and the Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So I just want to quickly mention that we do have our food giveaways every week. It's a little bit outside of CB8, but not far at Restoration Plaza. We will have resources available for Domestic Violence Awareness Month with the 79th precinct. And we're also giving out flowers to people this month. So we have a great partnership over there. I want to mention, first of all, that we're working to honor the legacy of Bill Howard. We have a proposal to co-name the corner of Nostrand and Dean, right by the Trinity Girl, if anybody gets their doubles over there. So we're working on getting that. We're gonna bring that before the EST committee. But if there are any questions, I really want to urge people to ask them before the meeting or ask them now. I will put my email in here to see about that. Because yeah, we really want to move forward with that as quickly as possible. So really, if there are questions, please do that. I think he would be a wonderful person to honor, and I'm excited about that. I want to mention a bunch of things that are happening. There are the local law 152 will require a lot of homeowners, property owners to get gas inspections. We are working to make sure that this goes as smoothly as possible and giving people some extensions in their time to take care of that. So hold on a second. Put things in the chat here. I have some links that I would like to share. Sorry, I'm more used to Zoom than to this one. I'd love to send some links about these laws. There's some hearings coming up regarding that. Maybe I'll send this later while I'm not dealing with that. So the bill numbers, if you're interested, are 2261 and 2321. I also want to mention that we just did a major revision of the construction codes, 7,400 revisions, 600 represent expanded requirements. This is the result of really tens of thousands of hours of work. That passed last week, Intro 2261. And finally, I have one more thing, and I actually really hope I can share my screen for this. The upcoming revisions to the redistricting revisions would have a severe impact, I believe negative impact, if the wrong proposal gets passed on Community Board 8. I will try to, there's several things that would really make it harder for Community Board 8 to get proper representation. The version of, there's two different proposals right now, the names and the letters proposal. I don't want to be, we represent everybody, but the names proposal is the Republican proposal, the letters proposal is the Democratic proposal. But the Republican proposal, the names proposal would basically, especially for the assembly representation, really create problems for Community Board 8. It would split what would be now for instance, the District 56. You would have less representation in Community Board 8 and new representation in Community Board 4. So whoever would represent that area would have half as much a connection to Community Board 8. The person who would represent Prospect Heights would actually have a lot of would also be sharing their district with the Williamsburg, especially the Sotmar district. So if you're in Prospect Heights and you want to really have your interest aligned with the Sotmar community in Williamsburg, the Republican plan would be great for you. I think the other proposal, the letters proposal, is much better. It would unify Prospect Heights. What's now a 43, District 43, would have a very odd shape cutting into Clinton Hill and Bed-Stuy. So I really hope that people take some time to understand that and respond to the New York State Independent Redistricting Commission. Those deadlines are coming up. We're going to be having petitioning starting in March. So there's really only a little bit of time to do that. So I know I threw a lot at you. Thank you for your time. I appreciate everybody's efforts, and I will share all of these links for anybody who wishes them.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rothblatt, for the information. Next, Ms. Hanley.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's good to see you all. I bring greeting on behalf of Assembly Member Stephanie Zinneman, the Assembly Member representing Bedford-Stuyvesant and Northern Crown Heights. We are grateful to be on with you this evening. We just have a few quick announcements. Thank you, first of all, to Mr. Miller for his great presentation. And if you're still on, I'll definitely like to get all of your contact information. I know you shared your social media and email, but I would definitely like to get a direct email and contact number for you. You feel free to, I believe you should be able to send me a message in the chat. Quite a few events happening. I can't even say coming up. I'm not sure if I have the ability to share my screen, but I did send Michelle all of the flyers. So let me start with what's already happening. And so backed by popular demand, one site, Free Vision Clinic, FREE free. I know people say there's nothing free. This is absolutely free. There is no criteria except that you must be willing to be screened for COVID. Is happening. Today was their second day. They've already seen over 200 members of their community. It's open to all. You do not have to show proof of address. You don't have to show proof of age. It's open to all, young and old, for a free eye exam and free glasses. The glasses are made here on site at 1368 Restoration if the prescription is simple enough. We do have some prescriptions that may have to be sent away to be made, but when they do come back, the Office of the Assembly Member Zinneman, we will be responsible for the distribution. So when I say it's free, it's free, FREE free. I know depending on your work status, the pandemic, some folks don't have coverage for health and dental, vision, or they're transitioning, whatever the case may be, please utilize this. They have glasses for young people, for older people, I would say ages 10 and up, that this service is provided. So come on out. The clinic continues tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then again on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Please, please, it is free. It's on a first come, first served basis. Share the information with those who may be in need at this time for a new pair of glasses. Also coming up is a fun day on Saturday with the FDNY in celebration of Fire Prevention Week, which passed. However, we will have the smoke truck out at Restoration again, specifically at Marcy Plaza for children ages 7 and up, where they will learn more about fire safety, fire drills, what to do. They will actually have a real life simulation with fake smoke, stop, drop and roll, and lots of giveaways, games, coloring activities. So if you have a child or grandchild age 7 and up, please bring them out from 12 to 2 on Saturday, October 16th, right here at Marcy Plaza, across from 1368 Fulton Street, across from Restoration Plaza. And then 2 final announcements, October 23rd, both of these events are happening on October 23rd, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. There'll be an immigration and deportation assistance clinic right here at Restoration in our office on the 3rd floor, 1368 Fulton Street. In addition to a teen career pathways at Macon Public Library in person at Macon at library and on Lewis and Stuyvesant Avenue, October 23rd, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Teen Career Pathways. So this is some information about animation, aviation, climate change and drone technology, health careers, transportation. So high school students, college level students or young people who are not sure, what they should do, what path they should take, please invite them to come out Saturday, October 23rd, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. at the Macon Public Library. And though that is all of the announcements I have for this evening, thank you for your time. Any questions, concerns? My contact information, I will drop in the chat. It's Jarvis Henley P at nyassembly.gov. And the office number is 718-399-7630. Again, it's 718-399-7630. And I'll place that in the chat as well. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Thank you so much. Lot of events there, Ms. Hanley. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Okay. Ms. Young,
Yes,
can you please identify our callers?
our callers.
Yeah.
Okay, all righty, let's see. Thank you. Let me go through. Okay, looking at the list. Okay, oh boy. I'm not visually seeing all of the callers here.
When you look through when you go into the chat,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see at the very bottom, attendees, view all. Did you see that?
I see participants. I see participants, but I don't see to acknowledge. Let me try it a different way. Okay, view all attendees. When I go into my attendee box, I don't see the full numbers. I see that there are callers, but I don't see the full numbers.
Yeah, you won't see the full numbers. But you see numbers. Call-in user. You see that?
I see call, and then I only see 7-1, and then I see another call, and I see a number 9, but I'm not seeing the numbers to acknowledge them and ask them to identify themselves.
Okay. Okay. So I'll do it. So for the number that's 917-575, could you please identify yourself? You can do a *6 to unmute yourself. Caller 718-208, please *6 to unmute yourself and identify yourself. Thank you. Caller 917-716, please identify yourself. Caller 347-971, please identify yourself. Caller 347-549, please identify yourself. And caller 516-444, please identify yourself. Okay, so now we're going to move to the action items from the following committees. First will be SLAC. It's going to be, we're going to adjust the order. So it'll be SLAC, Land Use, and the Executive Committee. So Mr. Witherwax, can you do the SLAC action items, please?
Good evening. It would be my pleasure. And
thank you.
For the members of the committee who were present in September and October, please feel free to remind me because the minutes were incomplete due entirely to me. whether we had any stipulations on any of the renewals. So I'm going to go through the list of renewals. And please feel free to speak up and remind us of how we had set things up. So the establishments that we're voting on for renewal tonight, there are 10 renewals between the two meetings. And again, our SLA meeting for September was after the September full board meeting. It was on the 13th of September, and our October meeting was on Monday, the 4th of October. So we have 2 months together tonight. The first establishment, 95 South at 778 Franklin. Then Crown Inn, 724 Franklin. Sushi Lin, 335 Flatbush. Kodo Sushi, 263 Flatbush. Misk at 758 Franklin. Barboncino, 781 Franklin. Krabby Shack, 613 Franklin. Dorset, 675-677 Washington. Pluto, doing business as Covenhoven at 730 Classen. And La Napa at 656 Nostrand. The committee voted to support the renewals of all 10 of those establishments between the two meetings in hopes that the full board supports its recommendations. Now, again, we know that there were some stipulations and some conditions on some of those, but the record unfortunately was incomplete. So if anybody has a better recollection, let us know. Hearing none, does anyone have any questions or comments about any of those establishments? Mr. Vacconi.
I unfortunately was not able to attend the September meeting due to a scheduling conflict. But I think I understood from some of the participants in that meeting that when Dorset's application came up, they were recommended for renewal with permission to use outdoor sound on Washington Avenue. Is that correct?
That is correct. The motion was made by a member of the committee and seconded by a member of the committee to support their application as presented, even though it very clearly uses and asks for the authorization for the use of outdoor sound, which is something that this committee has historically and traditionally not permitted any restaurant except under the most limited circumstances. So
Yeah,
the motion passed 8 votes in favor, 5 votes against.
I would like to recommend that the full board consider approving the recommendation for renewal, but without the outdoor sound. I think it sets a very slippery precedent by starting to allow restaurants to run outdoor sound on the street. I can tell you from my perch managing the Vanderbilt Avenue Open Street program, I would not want to be in a situation where we have restaurants running outdoor sound in the street and managing that. That would be very difficult. I think we should reconsider that for the purposes of the vote by the full board, and I would otherwise make a motion to support the committee's recommendation on all other renewals, but in the case of the renewal for Dorset, support the recommendation without approval for outdoor sound.
Seconded.
I'm sorry, who made the second?
Sarah Lazar.
Thank you, Ms. Lazar. Motion made by Mr. Vacconi, motion seconded by Sarah Lazar to support the renewal for all 10 applications, and with a caveat for Dorset that it be approved without permission for outdoor sound. Any questions from the membership or the attendees on the motion?
Yes. What are we voting on exactly?
Renewal
of what?
Of existing liquor licenses for the 10 establishments that I read out. None of them had major operational changes. Some of them had some COVID, open streets related operational changes. And one of them, Dorset, among those operational changes was that they are now have a street front seating area, and they have enabled it with outdoor sound, which again is not something we've ever really approved.
Is most
Is it-
outdoor sound for restaurants in backyard spaces? Is that what the difference is?
The
between their request?
very, very few restaurants, and I can only think of one, maybe two off the top of my head. Yes, outdoor in rear yards that are private spaces, and they have hours, reasonable hours of operation for the sound. So rear yards, not street fronts, and they're turned off by 10, I think, in all cases.
Right,
and
because
even
I
9.
know we've discussed before that if there's apartment windows that overlook the rear space, then we take that into consideration for the neighbors that will listen to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And in most of our blocks being, enclosed donuts, right, the sound does reverberate. So it's a problem we felt best avoided. But the same thing happens on the street front too, right? If you've got somebody with amplified, sound, not just crowd noise, it tends to echo through the canyons of our streets. So we've felt it as a committee. It's one of our few opportunities for leverage. We'd like to exert it for the betterment of the community without being to the detriment of any of our establishments.
I'm sorry, this is Fia Ortiz Joyner, and I have a question.
Yes, Ms. Joyner.
Would this also include DJ sessions in front of establishments?
Well, DJs generally come on a case by case basis. We're talking about background ambient sound. A DJ requirement is an entirely different question. Or DJ permission, right? So the establishments that come to us and say we would like to have DJs, they've only ever asked for it indoors.
No, I asked because there have been in some cases, some restaurants have had DJs outside of the establishment. So that's why I asked if this was under the same guidance.
Gib, do you have a comment on this?
I was going to say that I believe that if you do inside or out, an establishment with a liquor license has to have a specific approval for a DJ at the establishment. That's a separate. I think that's a separate item on your license, is it not?
I think so. And we've only ever had indoors, so I couldn't say about outdoors.
I mean, as far as I can remember, I don't know that there's ever been an establishment that has received permission for outdoor sound on the street.
Gentlemen, I have my hand raised. This is Sharon Wedderburn. Can you recognize me, please? Because I'd like to speak to this.
Ms. Wedderburn, my apologies. I didn't see your hand.
Excuse me. I was getting ready to acknowledge you, Ms. Wedderburn.
Thank you. Sorry,
That's
Deb.
all right. And you also had a question. Mark Thurton also had his hand raised. But
Thank
go
you,
ahead.
Ms. Young. Which order should I take it?
Go ahead, Ms. Wedderburn first, and then Mr. Thurton.
So in my recollection of Dorset, vis-a-vis many of the restaurant establishments on Vanderbilt Avenue, is that Dorset is a single story commercial space, meaning that there are no apartments above them. As a matter of fact, that entire block on that side of the block doesn't have any residential. And that is a material difference. Whereas Dorset is only an event space, it's not a restaurant, it's not going to be open all the time. And I highly doubt that they're going to be using music frequently. Whereas opposed to if you go down the street on Washington Avenue, there's several bars like Washington that have apartments above them. And I think there should be a distinction made, just as there's a distinction made for having amplified music in backyards because of the donut effect, right? Amplified music for commercial establishments that also have residential dwellings above them, and put Dorset in a separate category because there are no residential spots on that block.
If it were backyard music, I might agree with your distinction, but since it's street side music, it hits the occupants of the residents of the apartment buildings across Washington.
It's not a matter of whether or not you agree. This is how I see it. This is what I'm offering as my opinion. So as everyone makes a consideration for a vote.
Fairly put. Mr. Thurton.
Yeah. Didn't we have concerns about other establishments playing live music in front of their place also? And how do we distinguish the two? I mean,
Yes.
they're having music in front of their places.
Yes, we did, Mr.
And
Attorney.
that was a discussion that we had at the meeting.
This is an establishment that's up for its renewal, and we had complaints from the community. When those establishments come up, I would imagine that we might have the same situation. But again, I go back to the fact that this committee has had a rule, which we have abided by, and even to Ms. Wedderburn's point, we try to customize to the particularities of each individual license, because each individual proprietor is in a different location in our community, right? One size does not fit all, but this is a rule that we felt has served the community in good stead. And I'm going to vote for Mr. Vicconi's motion, because I don't feel we want to break this barrier. Any other questions?
This is Gail. I see no other hands. Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
What happened to the
Go ahead, Ms. Muhammad. Sorry.
What happened to the first motion? And the
Sorry,
vote
Gail, I missed that.
that we had initially.
Gail, can you ask your question again?
Okay. Robert, when you talked about Dorset, there was a motion where there were, I believe, 8 people that voted for and 5 people voted against. Asking for the full board's support. And then Gibb said that he wanted to say something else. And he said
Ms. Muhammad, Gail, you're breaking up.
music on the outside.
Gail, your question is not coming through clearly because it keeps breaking up. So can you try it just one more time?
I think the bottom line is that my question is, what happened with the initial board proposal?
The initial proposal was the one that passed the committee. You're right, 8 in favor, 5 opposed, was to just flat out approve the renewal according to the business model they're operating under, which includes outdoor amplified sound. Mr. Vicconi proposed that tonight we amend the committee's vote at the full board level, which is again something we try not to do, but it's certainly been done, to approve the renewal, but take out the permission for amplified outdoor sound.
Okay.
But did Dorset already have permission to do outdoor sound?
No, we have never given. Point of fact is, as Mr. Thurton and Ms. Wedderburn raised, lots of establishments in the COVID world that are now, for the first time, having outdoor spaces. They started doing that without coming to the committee. So we're in kind of a cleanup mode in a sense, right? We're trying to bring a lot of these establishments back into the norms that this committee has set for the last 10 years plus for this community about operating outdoor spaces. Dorset never had an outdoor space until COVID came along and they started using their street front. So they never came to the committee to ask one way or another about the parameters of that. So now that their renewal is coming due, this is our opportunity to do our business on behalf of the community, to work with the proprietor to find something that makes everybody happy.
We have 2 other raised hands, Ms. Joyner and then Mr. Todd.
Hi, this is Fiora Ortiz-Joyner. I just want to say that Mr. Weatherwax mentioned the complaints by the community. If I recall correctly, I believe that Congresswoman Yvette Clarke spoke on behalf of Dorset, and where she stated that most of those calls had no merit. So I just wanted to make sure that please correct me if I'm wrong.
The Congresswoman appeared on behalf of Dorset. She spoke for several minutes on their behalf, and was in favor of a flat out renewal. Mr. Todd?
Todd?
Yeah, I was just reminded that Dorset is in the manufacturing zone, the M zone, which means there are no residential neighbors as of right. There may be some grandfathered residential neighbors, very few of them. I would also
Not
point
sure
out,
that's correct, Mr. Todd. Dorset is between Prospect and St. Mark's on Washington Avenue. I don't think that's the M zone.
all right, I'm sorry. I just looked it up on the internet. I must have gotten the wrong address then. My apologies. Thank you.
We have
Problem.
Ms. Wedderburn, and then we have Alicia Nezenzo.
Hi, so just a couple of more items with this discussion, and I've already expressed how I feel about where Dorset is vis-a-vis how commercial establishments in Vanderbilt Avenue are configured. But I also want the board as a large, one, we generally support committee recommendations. And two, with this addition of this motion, what you're actually forcing the board to do is decide whether they're going to support Dorset or they're going to vote down all of the renewals. Is this something that we want to die on the hill for?
I'm sorry, I didn't
Mr.
understand the piece about voting down the renewals. That was not part of my motion.
Well, no, but part of your motion was to make because you have not extracted Dorset from the set of renewals. That's an add-on to the motion originally to accept the committee's recommendations. So adding on that clause to Dorset means that you're going to now have to choose between voting down everything, right? Or in order to support your motion. And I don't
Well,
think that's
if
fair to
Mr.
the other
Vicconi's
business
motion,
establishments.
I see your point, Ms. Wedderburn. If Mr. Vicconi's motion fails, we'll have another motion because we won't have approved anything. So we will see where that puts us.
All right, I'm gonna ask Mr. Todd, can you take your hand down, please? And we have Ms. Nocenzo, please.
Yes, hi, this is Alicia Nocenzo, CB8, and also on the SLA committee. I take issue with the notion that it's a completely commercial block. The Dorset and the Islands and the wine store, there's a plant store, I believe. There's no apartments above that. However, down the street, there are small apartment buildings. Up the street, there are small apartment buildings. Across the street, there are small apartment buildings. Secondly, I think that with the COVID and a lot of businesses putting out, seating on the sidewalk, it has been really changed the neighborhood for so many people across the city. And I think that this particular block, there are lots of commercial businesses, there are lots of outdoor seating, and I can understand that people that live on that block are not happy. I wouldn't be either because it's changed completely than what it was. Secondly, I want to address the complaints that were mentioned. And I don't think that they were dismissed. I think there were something like 60 something complaints. And I don't think they were dismissed. I think there was a suggestion that it was a few disgruntled neighbors. And, I can't speak to whether or not, how many neighbors spoke out against Dorset, but I think as a community board, we have the responsibility to look out for all our neighbors. And I think that this proposal does that in this case. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't recall the number or array of complaints either, but I don't have any basis of knowledge for that. And probably neither did the Congresswoman. Any other questions?
I don't see any other hands raised.
Thank you, Ms. Young. So Mr. Vicconi's motion was to support all 10 renewals with the sole caveat that we're supporting Dorset's renewal without permitted outdoor amplified sound. And it was seconded by Ms. Lazar. Ms. Witherspoon, let me know when Ms. Neal should call the vote.
Ms. Neal, you can call the vote.
Oh, if she's going, okay.
Or Ms. Ben James, whoever is calling the vote.
Okay. Good evening. First, I should say, please forgive me if your pronunciation of your name is not correct. I am working on that. So I'm putting that out there. So please, thank you. And here I'm going to start the roll call. Kimoni Allison.
Yes, Kirmani. Yes, to
Kimani Allison.
yes.
Yes. Glenda Andrews.
Yes.
Desmond Atkins. Lisa Atkinson.
Yes.
Princess Ben James. Yes. Julia Boyce. Jerry Buchanan. Mr. Buchanan, are you online?
Email, but I don't think she's here today.
Okay. Sorry. Robert Callahan. Nora Daniel.
Yes.
Aisha Dodson. Miss Dodson. Diane Duke. Kevin Farley.
Yes.
Andrea Ferris.
Present.
Fred Fraser.
I'm sorry, was Miss Ferris a yes?
Yes, she did.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, Mr. Weatherwalk.
And I didn't hear Gail. Miss Muhammad, did you vote?
I did not hear her either.
My name wasn't called.
Yes, I called you. Sorry. Yes, Miss Muhammad. I called the name. Sorry, Gail Muhammad. Miss
I wasn't either.
Gail
I didn't hear mine either.
Blanche Muhammad.
I didn't hear mine.
We're not up to you yet, Mr. Menza.
Oh, I thought it was after Muhammad. Oh, Muhammad. Okay.
Fred Fraser.
I'm sorry, I still didn't hear Miss Muhammad's vote.
No.
Thank you.
Drew Gabriel.
No.
Tamika Gibbs.
Yes. Yes.
Nijani Granville.
I said yes. Did you hear me?
No, I did not hear Miss Granville.
We did not. Thank you so much, Miss Granville.
Eugenie Harrison Blenman.
Jeannie Harris Blendman. Yes.
Trevor Henry.
Yes.
Zardina Jordan.
No.
Regina Kinsley.
Regina said yes.
Yes. Can you hear me? Yes. Yes.
Francis Langley.
Yes.
Sarah Lazar.
Yes.
Miss LeMay. Mirelli LeMay. Did I say it correctly? Miss LeMay. Elaine Mahoney.
Yes.
Wasi Menser.
Wasn't he just there? Mr. Menza, it's your turn to vote now.
I said abstain.
Thank you.
Moses Nicholstein.
Nicholsteins.
Nicholstein.
No.
Sorry, Mr. Nicholstein.
No problem.
Alicia Nozenzo.
Yes.
Foy Ortiz Joyner.
Fiora Ortiz.
Fiora Ortiz Joyner. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes.
Robert Puka.
Yes.
Yaya Raji. Celine Rosado. Adam Sack. Brian Sanders. Meredith Staten. Carmicia Superville.
Mr. Staten has his hand raised. I don't know what that means. Mr. Staten.
Audrey Tate Hall.
No.
Mark Thornton. Greg Todd.
Yes.
Ethel Tyus.
Yes.
Gibbs Bicconi.
Yes.
Ursa Villis.
That's Irsa Weatherspoon?
No,
No.
Villis.
Well, you got my vote already. Sorry.
East Village,
East Villis is there.
Over here. I don't believe he is.
Kimberly Watson.
Yes.
Ursa Weatherspoon.
That's Irsa Weatherspoon? No.
Weatherspoon.
No.
Robert Widowax.
Yes.
Deborah Young.
No.
Vilma Zuniga. Hold on. Mr. Weatherwax, can you please do the tabulation? Well, my computer is not allowing it.
I might have missed one or two votes, but I have the vote passing. It would from my tabulation, 22 in favor, 8 opposed, 1 abstention.
Right.
I have a question mark next to Miss Andrews. I don't know if she's in the meeting tonight, and Desmond.
Andrews was a yes. I had 23, Julia, so I think we're
That's
in
the
agreement.
one I'm missing. Thank you so much.
Mr. Weatherspoon? Yep.
So
yeah. Yes.
I'm finished. And thank you, Mr. Weatherwax and Julia.
thank you, Ms. Ben James. Now we have 2 more items from the SLA committee. One was a new application for a beer, wine, and cider license for Daughter at 1090 St. John's Place between Kingston and Brooklyn Avenues. The hours of operation were proposed to be 11 a.m. to midnight, Saturday through Sunday. Saturday and Sunday, 5 p.m. to midnight, to 11 p.m. Monday through Wednesday, and 5 p.m. to midnight Thursday and Friday. The establishment would have 4 tables with 11 seats and a maximum capacity of 25 patrons. I believe there was no outdoor component to this application. The committee voted to support the new license application in the hopes that the full board supports its recommendation. This place is mostly operating as a cafe with beer and wine cider service in the evenings. And again, my members will correct me if my memory is not correct. Are there any questions about the establishment? Ms. Young, any hands?
Nope, I didn't see any. Let me zoom real quickly. None are raised.
Can I get a motion?
A motion, please.
I make a motion that we support the application as submitted.
Thank you, Ms. Young. Is there a second?
Second that Tamika Gibbs.
I heard Ms. Gibbs' name first, even though I didn't hear her voice first. I'll give it to Ms. Gibbs.
Thank you, Mr. Witherwax.
Ms. Young makes the motion to support. Ms. Gibbs seconds to support daughter 1090 St. John's Place for a beer, wine, and cider license and the hours and number of seats as listed. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, with Ms. Weatherspoon's permission, Ms. Ben James.
Miss Ben James, can you do the call, please? The roll call. Thank you.
Kirmoni Allison,
Yes.
Glenda Andrews,
Yes.
Desmond Atkins, Lisa Atkinson,
Yes.
Princess Ben James, yes. Julia Boyd,
I finally got in. Yes.
Gail Branch Mohammed,
Yes.
Jerry Buchanan, Joan Buckholt, Robert Callahan, Alicia Dodson, Diane Duke, Kevin Farley,
Yes.
I think you skipped Nora Daniel.
Oh yes, sorry, Nora Daniels,
Yes.
Andrea Ferris,
Yes.
Fred
Yes.
Fraser, Drew Gabriel,
Yes.
Tamika Gibbs,
Yes. I'm sorry. Yes.
Dejani Granville,
Yes.
Jeannie Harrison Blenman,
Yes.
Marva Henry,
Yes.
Lorenzina Jordan,
Yes.
Regina Kindley,
Yes, Regina.
Francis Langley,
Yes.
What did Miss Kenzie say?
Yes.
Sarah Lazar,
Yes.
Ms. Lame, how do you pronounce your first name?
It's
I
Mar-
don't believe she's here this evening.
She's
Are
not-
you here?
She's not
Okay.
here today, but it's Murray.
Murray Lamaine. Elaine Mahoney. Wasi Menser.
No.
One moment. Calvis Nika Stein.
Yes.
Gibbs Viconi.
We skipped a few people. We
No.
skipped Nocenzo, Ortiz Joyner, etc.
Rob Pukovich, yes.
Don't. Oh, my computer. I'm so sorry. Oh yes, sorry. Alisa Nocenza. Tiora Ortiz Joyner.
Yes.
Robert Puka.
I'm sorry, did you get my yes, Alicia Nozenzo?
Yes.
Robert Pukovich, yes.
Yaya Raji. Celine Rosado. Pronounce it correctly. Adam Sack. Brian Sanders.
Saunders says yes.
Meredith Dayton. Carmicia Superville. Audrey Tate Hall.
Yes.
Mark Certain.
Yes.
Greg Todd.
Yes.
Ethel Tyus.
Yes.
Gibbs Viconi.
Yes.
Kimberly Watson.
Yes.
Miss Eartha Weatherspoon.
That's Irsa, and yes.
I'm gonna get it correct. Sorry, Miss Weatherspoon. Robert Weatherwax.
Yes.
Deborah Young.
Yes.
Velma Zuniga. Miss Weatherspoon.
What's the total? Ms. Neal, do you have that?
I have 32 in favor, 1 opposed, and I think I just lost my count.
I do as well.
Okay. Thank you,
Great,
Ms.
thank
Weatherwax, for the check.
Thank
you
you
so much.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is land use with Chair Tyus.
We got one more Slack
sorry.
item. Sorry, Ms. Weatherspoon.
Sorry, I missed that.
That's all right. It's a quick one, I hope. We have an establishment, BK Lobster, at 643 Vanderbilt Avenue, between St. Mark's and Prospect. It is not yet open, so don't think, wait a minute, we've had a lobster restaurant. No, it has not yet opened. But however, the applicant came before the committee a few months ago, maybe even a couple of years ago at this point, to get a beer, wine, and cider license, which we approved. They have come before the committee to request an upgrade of that license to a full liquor license. They have also requested a method of operation change. They would like to serve alcohol in their backyard. So that needs to be extended to cover the, that wasn't part of the original approval that we gave them. And they would like the occasional DJ. And the committee voted to support the license upgrade with the caveat, and this I do remember, that these be inside and not outside. The no amplified sound, DJ or otherwise, in the rear yard, in hopes that the full board support its recommendation. So again, BK Lobster, 643 Vanderbilt Avenue is seeking 3 changes to its approval, even though it hasn't opened yet. 1, to go from beer, wine, and cider to a full liquor license. 2, to permit service on the rear yard. And 3, to permit a DJ to play from time to time. Any amplified sound would be inside the establishment and not outside the establishment.
I move to support.
Thank you, Ms.
Ethel Tyus
Tyus. Is
speaking.
there a second?
Second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Saunders. Thank you. Is there any questions on the motion?
Yeah, Mr. Weatherwax, did they give a reason why, Madam Chair?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, Ms. Ben James?
Okay. Mr. Weatherwax, did they give a reason why they are going from wine and cider to full liquor?
Not that I recall, except when businesses do this, it's typically because they feel it's in their better interest to broaden their market. But if the members can recall, I don't recall a specific reason that was given.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion?
One question, I'm sorry, just one quick question. Can you just review what the hours of operation for BK Lobster are?
It didn't make it onto the final, so hold on, let me see if I can find the actual document.
I don't have the, if you give me a moment, I can pull it up, but I think their hours are pretty tame. They close, before midnight daily. And I think most days it's about 10 to 11, but give me 1 second to double check.
And after that, we do have another question.
While Julia's looking that one up, why don't we take the other question, Ms. Young?
Okay, Ms. Jean Giles. Tashiana Jean Giles. Your hand is raised. Okay, well, maybe it's an accident. She's not responding. Okay.
Hello?
Hello? Oh, you're here?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
here. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Sorry. Hi, everyone. I'm the GM for BK Lobster. So I just raised my hand so that I can just clarify on the points that were mentioned. Our operation hours are Monday. We are open every day, Monday through Thursday. It will be from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. On Friday and Saturday, it will be from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. And then on Sundays, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Thank you, Mr. Giles.
Okay, my memory does not fail me as often as I want to think it does. Thank you.
Okay, so do we have any more questions?
No, I don't see any more in the chat.
Okay, hearing none, I'm gonna, Princess, I'm gonna ask Ms. Neal to do the roll call since you're having computer issues. So Ms. Neal, can you please do the roll call? Thank you.
Not a problem. If I recognize that I've heard your vote, I will just say thank you. Kimberly Allison?
Yes.
Thank you. Glenda Andrews?
Yes.
Thank you. Desmond Atkins? Lisa Atkinson?
Yes.
Thank you. Princess Ben James?
Yes.
Thank you. Julia Boyd? Ms. Boyd, press *6 to get in. Come back to you. Gail Branch Mohammed?
Yes.
Thank you. Jerry Buchanan? Not here. John Buckholz? Not here. Robert Callahan? Not here. Nora Daniel? Thank you.
Yeah, I unmuted Julia Boyd.
Okay, Ms. Boyd? Would you like to register a vote on BK Lobster's license upgrade? Aisha Dotson? Diane Duke? Kevin Farley?
Yes.
Thank you. Andrea Ferris?
Yes.
Thank you. Fred Frazier? Drew Gabriel?
Yes.
Thank you. Tamika Gibbs?
Yes.
Thank you. Najani Granville? Yes. Thank you. Jeannie Harris Blindman.
Yes.
Thank you. Marva Henry.
Yes.
Thank you. Zerzima Jordan.
Yes.
Thank you. Regina Kinsey. Miss
Yeah,
Kinsey.
Regina's yes. Yes.
Thank you. Francis Langley.
Yes.
Thank you. Sarah Lazar.
Yes.
Thank you. Murray Lemaine. She's not here. Elaine Mahoney.
Yes.
Thank you. Quasi Mensa.
No.
Thank you. Calvis Mickelsteins.
Yes.
Thank you. Alicia Nozenzo.
Yes.
Thank you. Am I pronouncing your name right, Miss Nozenzo?
Yes, Alicia Nozenzo. Thank you.
Thank you. Fiora Ortiz Joyner.
Yes.
Thank you. Robert Puka.
Yes.
Thank you. Yaya Raji. Celine Rosado. Adam Sachs. Brian Saunders.
Yes.
Thank you. Meredith Staten. Carmicia Superville. Audrey Tate Hall.
Yes.
Thank you. Mark Thurton.
Yes.
Thank you. Greg Todd.
Yes.
Thank you. Ethel Tyus.
Yes, and at the end, can you please announce the number of tables? Capacity.
Okay, thank you. Gib Vaconi.
Yes.
Thank you. Eves Villas. Kimberly Watson.
I vote yes.
Thank you. Irsa Weatherspoon.
Yes.
Thank you. Robert Witherwax.
Yes.
Thank you. Deborah Young.
Yes.
Thank you. And Ms. Zuniga's not here. I have 32 in favor, 1 opposed.
Me too.
And the owner was on. She just answered a question. Could you just remind us of the number of tables and the capacity, please?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
So the outdoor capacity is 15, the indoor capacity is 28.
Thank you very much. Next will be land use with Chair Tyus. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We had a busy meeting. But of the 3 hours that we spent, we have 2 action items here. 266 Brooklyn Avenue, which is some restoration measures for a brownstone on the corner of Brooklyn Avenue and Lincoln Place. As requested by the committee at the September 2021 meeting, architect Dennis George of George Architects presented photographs of mock-ups of the proposed enlarged garage, a 7.5-foot tall rooftop pergola, and enlarged rooftop bulkhead to the committee. In addition, he shared the photographs of the mock-up from 3 vantage points, including views from Brooklyn Avenue and Lincoln Place, and also from Lincoln Place and from Eastern Parkway. Largely because the mock-ups were not painted orange and consequently could not be discerned easily behind the construction netting, the committee agreed that the photographs of the mock-ups were insufficient to satisfy the requirements for committee approval of these proposed additions and alterations to the property. In addition, the committee continued to object to the creation of the proposed 2-car wide curb cut on Lincoln Place. Although Mr. George cited 3 examples of other double curb cuts in the surrounding neighborhood, the committee agreed that neighborhood historic conditions should be considered rather than more recent precedent, and that 3 examples did not equal a precedent. On motion made and seconded, the committee voted unanimously with 16 in favor to withhold support for the construction of the pergola, the garage enlargement, including the rooftop railings and the 2-car curb cut. The committee supports those items already approved by the Landmark Preservation Commission. Mr. George inquired if there was any method available to come back to the committee to discuss these proposed elements further. Chair Tyus encouraged him to consider the committee's objections to the proposed elements with his clients and invited him to return to the committee in November with a revised proposal. The committee hopes that the full board will support its recommendation. The LPC hearing is scheduled for October 26th. Are there any questions?
Don't see any hands up.
Chair Weatherspoon, will you call for a motion, please?
And we have a motion, please, from the floor.
I
make a motion. I recommend that we support the committee's decision recommendation. Sorry.
I second.
Tamika Gibbs.
Deborah Young, second. Tamika Gibbs made the motion. Any questions?
I have a question, Madam Chair.
Sure.
So a yes vote is agreeing with the committee's recommendation to deny the proposed changes, correct?
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Julia Neal, please, can you do the roll call?
Chairman Allison?
Yes.
Thank you. Glenda Andrews?
Yes.
Thank you. Desmond Atkins? Lisa Atkinson?
Yes.
Thank you. Princess Ben James?
Yes.
Thank you. Julia Boyd? Gail Branch Mohammed?
Yes.
Thank you. Jerry Buchanan? John Buckholz? Robert Callahan? Nora Daniel? Ms. Daniel?
Yes.
Thank you. Aisha Dotson? Diane Duke? Kevin Farley?
Yes.
Thank you. Andrea Ferris?
Yes.
Thank you. Fred Frazier? Drew Gabriel?
How you do credit?
Yes.
Hit the red for credit. Credit.
Thank you. Caller 347-549, can you please mute yourself?
That's Ms. Kinsey.
Okay.
Abstain.
Thank you, Ms. Kinsey. Tamika Gibbs?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Gabriel, can I just verify your vote, please, that it was a yes? That's what I typed in, but I'm not sure that's accurate.
That's correct. It was a yes.
Thank you. Najani Granville?
Yes.
Thank you. Jeannie Harris Blindman?
Yes.
Thank you. Marva Henry?
Yes.
Thank you. Zerzima Jordan?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Kinsey, I have you as an abstention. Francis Langley?
No.
Thank you. Sarah Lazar?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Murray Lemaine? Elaine Mahoney?
Yes.
Thank you. Quasi Mensa?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please? I think that was a yes.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Calvis Mickelsteins?
Yes.
Thank you. Alicia Nocenso?
Yes.
Thank you. Fior Ortiz Joyner?
Yes.
Thank you. Robert Puka?
Yes.
Thank you. Yaya Raji? Celine Rosado? Adam Sachs? Brian Saunders?
Yes.
Thank you. Meredith Staten? Carmicia Superville? Audrey Tate Hall?
Yes.
Thank you. Mark Thurton?
Yes.
Thank you. Greg Todd? Mr. Todd?
Yes.
Thank you. Ethel Tyus?
Yes.
Thank you. Gib Vaconi?
Yes.
Thank you. Eves Villas? Kimberly Watson. Yrsa Weatherspoon.
Yes.
Thank you. Robert Witherwax.
Yes.
Thank you. Deborah Young.
Yes.
Thank you. I have 30 in favor, 1 opposed, 1 abstention.
Who made second on this motion?
I have Ms. Young.
Deborah
as the-
Young.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Witherwax, do you have the same vote? Am I missing someone?
I had 31, 1 and 1, but I may have put an extra yes somewhere.
Okay, so when the meeting's over, you and I, we can compare. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you all very much. We have one more item, action item, LPC landmarking. Again, the same representative for this new client, Mr. George, Dennis George of George Architects. He presented plans to convert 982 Sterling Place, that's between New York Avenue and Brooklyn Avenue, into a 3-family from a 2-family, and which would make it subject to the Americans with Disabilities Act. The committee was tasked with the consideration of an ADA required accessibility ramp in the front areaway, proposed modification to the sidewalk fence to add a gate in conjunction with a wheelchair accessible path, and proposed masonry and gate modification to the stoop at the basement level. The proposed exterior entrance changes were required to the ground floor basement for ADA compliance, as I said earlier. These changes include modifying the gate from the sidewalk and modifying the gate at the stoop entrance. Mr. George has met with LPC staff and with the mayor's office of for the Americans with Disabilities Act to confirm that his proposal meets ADA requirements. Ms. Ortiz read a letter. Ms. Ortiz Joyner read a letter from the Crown Heights North Association requesting the brownstone and masonry be carefully reused to match the color and consistency of the materials at the remaining part of the stoop, and the existing gate and fence be recycled. Mr. George confirmed to Ms. Young that the building's new owner will live in the completed conversion. On motion made and seconded, the committee voted 15 in favor, 1 opposed with 1 abstention to support the application and make the necessary changes to the ground floor entrance to comply with the Americans with Disabilities Act. The client agreed to match existing masonry to.
Excuse me, whoever's speaking outside of Ms. Tice, can you mute yourself? Thank you. Please mute yourself.
The client agreed to, Mr. George reported that the client agreed to reuse the existing masonry and brownstone to match the colors and consistency and to reuse existing materials to do so. The committee hopes that the full board will support its recommendation. The LPC hearing is scheduled for October 22nd.
Okay, can we?
Go ahead.
Yes, can we have a motion, please? To support this.
This is Gail. Committee's recommendation for support.
I second it.
Who's the second, please?
Lisa Atkinson.
Thank you. Julie, can you please do the roll call?
Before the roll is called, please, we have a question. Mr. Thurton.
Sure, I'm sorry.
No problem. Thank you. Mr. Thurton.
Thank you, Ms. Young. This is being converted from a 3-family to a 2-family. What's the interior that they, excuse me?
I'm sorry, it's the other way.
Oh, from a into a 3-family.
Correct.
Okay. What are they doing on the interior? Are they which floors are they splitting up to make that third living space?
Without looking at the plans, which I don't have in front of me right now, I'd have to say they're going to have that first floor, the ground floor, as a
rental
part of a unit. I don't know if it's going to be the ground floor and then the parlor floor is 1 unit and the next floor up is a 2nd unit or a 3rd unit. It's probably each floor a different unit. with its own kitchen and bathroom.
Okay,
Excuse me,
and
Mr.
they're
George
doing,
is, Mr. George is on the meeting, if you guys want him to clarify.
He'd be a better one to answer that question.
Mr. George?
Yes, yes, I'm here. Okay, it would be, the first 2 floors would be the owner's duplex, and then the 2 additional floors above would be the rental units. The 2 additional units.
okay, and there's work already being done on the building?
Yes.
Yes, for
Okay,
about 2 years now.
okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. George.
You're welcome.
Any more questions, Ms. Young?
Nope. Oh, no, no more.
Okay, great, thank you. Can we have a roll call, Ms. Neal?
Harmony Allison,
Yes.
thank you. Glenda Andrews,
Yes.
thank you. Desmond Atkins, Lisa Atkinson,
Yes.
thank you. Princess Ben James,
Yes.
thank you. Julia Boyd, Gail Branch Mohammed,
Yes.
thank you. Jerry Buchanan, John Buckholz, Robert Callahan, Nora Daniel,
Yes for Robert Callahan.
thank you. Welcome
Yes.
to the meeting. Thank you, Miss Daniel. Aisha Dotson, Diane Duke, Kevin Farley,
Yes.
thank you. Andrea Ferris,
Yes.
thank you. Fred Frazier, Drew Gabriel,
Yeah.
thank you. Tamika Gibbs,
Yes.
thank you. Najani Granville, Miss Granville, we'll come back to you. Jeannie Harris Blindman, Marva Henry,
Yes.
Yes,
thank,
for Jeannie Harris Blidman.
thank you, Miss Blindman, thank you, Miss Henry. Zerzima Jordan,
Yes.
thank you. Regina Kinsey, Miss Kinsey, Francis Langley,
Yes.
thank you. Sarah Lazar,
Yes.
thank you. Murray Lemaine, Elaine Mahoney, Miss Mahoney,
Yes.
thank you. And I think Miss Kinsey, you were just trying to unmute yourself.
Yes, I said yes.
Thank you. Quasi Menza,
Yes.
thank you. Sorry, I just literally skipped to the wrong place. Okay, I'm back on track now. Calvis Mickelsteins,
Yes.
thank you. Elisa Nocenzo,
Yes.
thank you. Fia Ortiz Joyner,
Yes.
thank you. Robert Puka,
Yes.
thank you. Yaya Raji, Celine Rosado, Adam Sachs, Brian Saunders,
Yes.
thank you. Meredith Staten, Carmicia Superville, Audrey Tate Hall,
Yes.
thank you. Mark Thurton,
About the delay.
thank you. Greg Todd,
Yes.
thank you. Ethel Tyus,
Yes.
thank you. Give Vaconi,
Yes.
thank you. Eves Villas, Kimberly Watson,
Yes for Kimberly.
thank you. Irsa Weatherspoon,
Yes.
thank you. Robert Witherwax,
Yes.
thank you. Deborah Young,
Yes.
thank you. I have 33 in favor, unanimous.
Thank you very much. I'd like to, Madam Chair, if I may remind our fellow board members that there will be 2 special gatherings for land use later on this month, and notices will go out from the board office.
Thank you, Ms. Tyus.
I have a
next
correct. I think it's only one additional meeting this month. We had one already, one additional on the 27th, just one. Is that correct?
It should be on the 27th of October. That's the remaining meeting.
There's the urban design and then the special meeting. City planning is going to come in and do a walkthrough on urban design. Everyone should come, hopefully. And I think that's the 21st, and then the 27th is a second special meeting on the 2 ULIP items. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. Sorry to be, I was on the phone, but I could not get through before. So I was hearing everything that was being said.
Who is speaking?
And for the last, Diane Duke.
Okay, Ms. Duke, it's nothing we can do about it right now. So we're gonna have to move on. Thank you. Thank you for making yourself known. Okay, so next up is the Executive Committee action item. The Executive Committee recommends the removal of Ms. Helen Coley and Ms. Carmicia Superville as members of Community Board 8, as per the bylaws of Community Board 8. In terms of the members' removal, the bylaws state specifically 5.5.C, an appointed member may be removed from the board for cause by a majority vote of the board only after 1, a 2/3 majority of the members of the executive committee present and entitled to vote recommends a removal hearing. 2, service of written charges and specifications, to the appointed member at least 30 days prior to a scheduled hearing. 3, a scheduled hearing before the board at a general or special meeting at which the appointed member shall have the right to respond to the charges and specifications, the right to counsel, and the right to produce witnesses or evidence on his or her behalf. The notice of the meeting shall include the hearing on this agenda. 5.5D, circumstances may constitute cause for removal shall include but shall not be limited to 1, non-attendance at 4 of the previous 6 consecutive general or special board meetings. 2, substantial non-attendance or non-participation in 2 committees of the board. 3, substantial record of missed roll call votes at the board meeting. And 4, conduct detrimental to the board. Charges against both Ms. Coley and Ms. Superville are as follows. 1, non-attendance and participation in general meetings. The last meeting of any kind attended by Ms. Coley was in December 2019. Ms. Superville has not attended any meetings since her appointment in May 2020. 2, non-participation in at least 2 standing or ad hoc committees. The last meeting of any kind attended by Ms. Coley was in December 2019. Ms. Superville has not attended any meeting since her appointment in May of 2020. 3, both Ms. Coley and Ms. Superville were sent letters about their attendance as per the bylaws. Excuse me one second. Ms. Duke, can you mute yourself? Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to repeat 3. Both Ms. Coley and Ms. Superville were sent letters about their attendance as per the bylaws, and to date, neither has responded. Additionally, Ms. Coley's mail comes back to our office as undeliverable. As such, the executive committee recommends the removal of Ms. Coley and Ms. Superville on the aforementioned grounds and hopes the full board supports this recommendation. If you would like to come to the defense of either Ms. Coley or Ms. Superville, you may do so at this time. Do we have anyone that has anything to be said?
I have a question.
Sure, Mr. Mensah.
Anybody checked on the whereabouts or condition of Ms. Coley? Is she okay?
I have called, this is Michelle George. I have called Miss Coley on her home number, her cell number. I've also gone to her house, no response at all.
Thank you. Any more questions? I ask that we make a motion to support this recommendation of the executive committee.
Motion to support the recommendation.
I second.
Seconded.
Thank you. Any questions? Asking again. Hearing
I
or seeing none.
Madam Chair, I think it would be prudent for the board to gather next of kin information from members. Given our current condition as a society with the pandemic. And if we have occasions like this in the future where people just disappear, we can check with their next of kin.
Thank you. That's a good suggestion. Thank you so much, Ms. Tyus. Ms. Neal, can you do a roll call, please?
Harmony Allison,
Abstain.
thank you. Glenda Andrews,
Yes.
thank you. Desmond Atkins, Lisa Atkinson,
Abstain.
thank you. Princess Ben James, Miss James. Okay, we lost Miss James. Julia,
Yes, sorry. Yes.
thank you, Miss James. Julia Boyd, Gail Branch Muhammad,
Yes, her phone died. This is Deborah Young. She's on the phone with me. She votes yes.
thank you. Can we accept that vote without hearing her voice, you guys?
See, let me see if I can put it on speaker. Hold on for a minute. I don't know how to use it. Okay, 1 minute. Gail?
We have done it in the past when people could not
Okay.
hear and sent
Okay,
it, but
Gail?
if she can.
Okay. She's say yes loudly.
Thank you. Jerry Buchanan.
Okay. Yeah,
Miss-
they wanted to hear your voice.
Miss Buchanan?
They don't trust me.
It's not we don't trust you, Miss Young. It's
I was joking. You wasn't supposed to hear that. Sorry.
Yeah, and we don't have to answer to it. Right. So
John Buckles, Robert Callahan, Nora Daniel.
Yes.
No, thank you, Mr. Callahan. I'm going to remember that you're here for the next vote. I promise. Nora Daniel.
Yes.
Thank you. Aisha Dotson. Diane Duke. Miss Duke.
I'm having problems.
Is it a yes or a no?
Yes, please. It's a yes.
Thank you. Kevin Farley.
Yes.
Thank you. Andrea Ferris. Miss Ferris.
I'm sorry, I abstain.
Thank you. Fraser. Drew Gabriel.
Yes.
Thank you. Tamika Gibbs.
Yes.
Thank you. Najani Granville.
Yes.
Thank you. Jeannie Harris Blindman. Barbara Henry.
Yes.
Thank you. Zerzima Jordan.
Yes.
Thank you. Regina Kinsey.
Yes.
Thank you. Francis Langley.
Yes.
Thank you. Sarah Lazar.
Yes.
Thank you. Murray Lemaine. Elaine Mahoney. Miss Mahoney. Thank
Yes.
you. Quasi Menza. What was that a yes, Mr. Menza? Thank you. Calvis Mickelsteins.
Yes.
Thank you. Alicia Nozenzo.
Yes.
Thank you. Fior Ortiz Joyner.
Yes.
Thank you. Robert Puka.
It's the number 7. Okay. All right,
Mr.
so
Puka.
motion fixes.
Ms. Mahoney, please mute yourself. I think Mr. Puka's gone. Yaya Raji. Celine Rosado. Adam Sachs. Brian Saunders.
Yes.
Thank you. Meredith Staten. Carmicia Superville. Last time we have to call that. Audrey Tate Hall.
Yes.
Thank you. Mark Thurton.
Mr. Staten put his hands up.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Thurton. Greg Todd.
Yes.
Thank you. Ethel Tyus. Ms. Tyus.
Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Okay.
Give Coney.
Yes.
Thank you. Eves Villas, Kimberly Watson. Ms. Watson.
Vote yes.
Thank you. Irsa Weatherspoon.
Yes.
Thank you. Robert Witherwax.
Abstain.
Thank you. Deborah Young.
Yes.
Thank you. I have motion passes 28 in favor, 5 abstentions.
Julia, did you get my vote? Robert Puka voted yes.
I do not. 29 in favor.
Thank you.
29 in favor, 5 abstentions.
Okay. Mr. Todd has his hand up. Is that for, you have a question, Mr. Todd?
No, I just wanted to say I know Miss Coley rather well, and I know she owns a property up in Sullivan County. And I'm just guessing she might have moved. But anyways, I'm going to try to follow up on that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So up next, we will have our reports from the following committees. And I've changed the order. So it will be economic, education, environmental, sanitation, transportation, health, housing, parks, public safety, seniors, and veterans. In that order. Thank you. Economic development.
Yes, good evening. Good evening, everyone. My name is Brian Saunders. Just want to let you know we just had our Economic Development Committee meeting this past Tuesday. We accomplished a few things. We realized economic development is very important to this community and the thriving of business and residents as well. So we actually recited our goals, what we have we'd like to achieve. And also we came up with a date of November 6th where we want to reach out to the different corridors. And the corridor that we chose to reach out to with all the merchants is Nostrand Avenue. So this November 6th, which is a Saturday, we look forward to having members come out to help us do an outreach with other committees, public safety and myself, to reach out to the residents and the merchants on Nostrand Avenue to assess their needs and find out what and how we can help the merchants and individuals on Nostrand Avenue. We also would like to, for other people to come and join this committee. It's a very important committee, and we would like you to join our next one where we decided also that we're going to meet every second Tuesday of the month at 6:15. So look forward every second Tuesday of the month at 6:15. I invite you to come and bring along one other plus one to help us assess the community, find out what our community needs and what we can do as a community board at whole to reach out. And with that, I'd like to also thank my other committee members, Elaine Mahoney and Drew Grable as well. And I look forward to seeing fresh new faces, fresh new ideas, and fresh new thoughts. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mrs. Saunders. Education and youth.
Good evening, everyone. This is Nora Daniel. The Youth and Education Committee did not meet this month. We're meeting again we're meeting on the 2nd of November, and we meet every first Tuesday at 7.
Thank you so much. EST.
Good evening, everyone. Robert Witherwax, Chair of the Environment, Sanitation, and Transportation Committee. We had a great meeting in September. We heard presentations from the Department of Transportation on the success of the open streets in Prospect Heights, Vanderbilt, and Underhill specifically. and some of the evaluation and outreach that we should be expecting to hear from them over the winter and into the spring. We also heard about some proposed safety improvements to Grand Army Plaza that are being sponsored by the Plaza Street Block Association, half of which lies in Community Board 8. And we had some initial discussions of a couple of street co-namings, one of which we've heard already about tonight, about Mr. Howard, and one about Miss Bertha Vaughn. We're going to be entertaining both of those applications for a vote this October. We're meeting on the 26th of the month at 6:15 on WebEx on Tuesday the 26th. And if you're interested in that or any other issues of environment, sanitation, or transportation, come out. We've got a full plate about subcommittee work we're going to be setting into motion as of this meeting. So if you're interested in working on any of the various and sundry issues that are, go around the concepts of environment, sanitation, or transportation in Community Board 8, please show up and we'll put you to work. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Health?
Good evening, everyone. This is Tamika Gibbs, the chair of the Health Committee. I'm sorry. We had our last meeting on September 16th. We got together, met a few new people that came onto the committee. We did a few brainstorming exercises to get our calendar together, what we're planning on doing for the next upcoming year. We invite everyone. I asked everyone to bring a friend for our next meeting. Our next meeting will be held on Thursday, the third Thursday of every month. Next meeting is October 21st at 6:15. Please check the CB8 website for the link and the information. Please join us and help make CB8 a healthier community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gibbs. Housing?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good evening, everybody. We met last night and we were told by one of our members who keeps up with these things that the ERAC applications have been simplified. So for those people who have not filed, they might want to consider doing so. We were also told by Ms. Robinson of the office of Ms. Ampry Samuels that the tax lien sale will be held. It had been postponed because of COVID, and we were hoping that it would be that there would be some thoughts about not having it because there's a lot of debate about it in our community, but they decided to go ahead and have it in December. So the dates that we were given are December 16th and 17th. And what we talked about doing as a committee is putting together another letter for our elected officials, asking them to consider not having the tax lien sale, especially in light of the pandemic and the fact that it could hurt a lot of our smaller landlords. And the committee is going to work on the letter and bring it forth to the full board for a vote. And we realize that the new officials will not take office until January, but that means it gives us time to actually put this letter together. The other thing I wanted to mention is the fact that Ms. Gibbs came out to the committee, came in quotation marks. She came out to represent the Public Safety Committee, and she will be coming out on an ongoing basis from now on. And she also discussed some things that the fire department is going to be doing on the benefit of the community, so we can look forward to those things coming up. And like I said, I want to thank Ms. Robinson for coming out. And what we're going to be trying to do is to make sure that all of our elected officials send a representative from now on to the housing meeting, so that when things happen, we won't have to bring them up to speed. They will already know what our concerns are. So we look forward to you coming out, and we meet the second Wednesday of every month. So please come out, make your concerns known, and we hope to have a little more participation from other people in the community who actually live in the housing developments. And I want to thank Ms. Atkinson for coming out and being as vocal as she was. Thank you.
We have two questions. We have Mr. Todd's hand up and then Ms. Wedderburn. And I also want to mention Ms. Muhammad is back online, so she'll be able to give her senior report. Mr. Todd? Oh, nope, he took his hand down. Ms. Wedderburn?
So my hand was up while Mr. Witherwax was giving the EST report. What were the initiatives? So we can do that later, okay?
Fine, thank you.
You're
Sorry, I
welcome.
missed it. Okay.
Thank you so much, Ms. Vanderbilt. Parks, please.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Glenda Andrews, chairperson of the Parks Committee. We met on October 5th via the WebEx, and just happy to tell you that St. John Recreation Center is open in full capacity. The other good news is that they're offering free membership for any interested person for 1 year. You got a free membership up to December 31st of this year to get that offer. The only thing is that you have to have, each person have to have at least one proof of the COVID vaccine shot to join and to enter the building. Okay. The schedules may be different now, so you need to call to find out what time frame that they're offering, especially the swimming schedule. There are going to be certain times of the day where they're only going to have children in the building. So you need to call and find out what time schedule are you allowed in the building. Broward Park, they're going to be having a Halloween celebration on October 30th. The tree lighting is scheduled for sometime in December. And I guess Ms. Henry will give you more information on that. And also we had talked about our goals for the year. And one of the goals that we wanted to do is we're going to get a spreadsheet together that have the list of all of our parks and gardens in the area in Community Board 8, and we're going to find out the status of each one of our parks to see if they need any improvements or any type of capital projects. So that's our big goal that we're going to have. We know that we have one playground that's called a St. Mark's Playground that's in dire need of improvement. Haven't had any capital projects since 2002. So we're going to be working on that to work with parks to see if we can get something done for that. And our next meeting is going to be November 9th. That's the second Tuesday instead of the first for November at 6:15. Thank you.
So one last thing, Ms. Andrews, the reconstruction of the
Yes,
at Broward Park.
Yeah, we started the reconstruction of the Broward Park playground. Near the playground area, the whole area. They're going to be doing the drainage system, the pavement and everything. The only thing that we need to work on, because a lot of the community didn't know it was going to start and we didn't get notice. So we're thinking about, we need to work more with the parks to let us know when these projects are going to start, even though it may have been approved a couple of years ago or some time ago. And we need to work on to make sure that we know when these projects are starting, because the community sometimes get caught off guard with the closures.
Okay, we have a hand up. We have Ms. Gibbs, but I also wanted to mention that the holiday tree lighting contest event is going to be December 3rd. That came out from Councilmember Cornegie's office.
Okay,
so
December
share the
3rd.
date. Yeah, December 3rd. Okay, Ms. Gibbs.
Yes, thank you. Ms. Andrews, do you know how long you said the free memberships at St. John's Rec is valid? You have until the December to
You have
complete it?
up to December 31st to get the 1 year free offer, and then you have 1 year after the time that you sign up.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Andrews. Next, public safety with Mr. Thornton.
Hey, good day. Mark Thurton, Public Safety Chairperson. We met on Monday, September the 27th. At the meeting, we had the 78th Precinct Commanding Officer, that is Captain Sofrant, and also our 77th precinct Deputy Inspector Brown, and they spoke about, gave us an update of what's been going on for the past month. That was extremely constructive. But what we also did, that we ran through our goals for 2021 for the 2022 year. What we're going to be doing is that we're going to be collaborating with a lot of the other committees. One of the major ones is the Youth and Education. We'll be working with them as we did last year. We'll continue doing that. Whatever events they have going on, we'll definitely assist them. Collaboration is extremely important with our community board. Youth and education goes hand in hand with public safety. What we'll also be doing is we'll be working with our youth coordinating officers to have activities in the park, and with that we'll be working also with the Parks Committee. We'll definitely support them, try to get increased safety in the parks, increased illumination, and support the Parks Committee and whatever they need public safety wise. What we're also going to be doing, we're going to be lobbying our elected officials for August security cameras in certain areas. We've been asking for that for quite a bit, but we're going to be pushing even more this year. We're going to have, we're going to be sending out emails to our
Uh-oh.
Mark, we lost you.
The internet is kind of weak. It looks like it's buffering.
Yeah, he's circling there. Yeah. Okay. Mark, I don't know if you can hear us. We're going to come back to you, and we're just going to move to seniors. Ms. Muhammad.
Yes, good evening. Thank you. The senior committee meets the first Wednesday of every month. Our last meeting was October 6th. On October 7th, we had a breakfast for the seniors at Nostrand Social. I'd like to thank those community board members that came out, as well as those that donated to the event. The seniors had a great time. The 77th precinct was involved. They provided van service for several of the seniors. They enjoyed themselves so much that when the van came to pick them up, some of them alerted us that they had their Metro cards. So they didn't need a ride back, home. Again, just want to thank everyone. Also, the seniors will be able to get their booster shots. I'll be reaching out to Tamika Gibbs also to let her know, because there's going to be a van on Kingston at the Crown Heights Local Development Corps, and they will be giving out booster shots. So some of our seniors will get their shots then. I just don't have the date in front of me, but I will get that information to the community board. And the van will be giving the Pfizer, and as of today, the Moderna has been approved. So perhaps they will also give the Moderna booster. Like I said, the next meeting is on November 3rd, and that's, we don't do our meetings by telephone. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Muhammad. Okay, I just want to mention we have a newly created committee, the Veterans Committee, and we need members. We have our interim vice chair, Najani Granville. So we really need you. So please sign up. You can make your interest known to the district office. And I just want to say for SLAC, as the chairperson, we are meeting the first Monday of every month, with the exception of Labor Day in September. Thank you.
Madam Chair, may I make a quick announcement at this
Sure.
point? Okay, I just would like to mention that the Crown Heights North Association is having its general membership meeting on October 20th. And we have two very, very important issues that are going to be discussed. Assembly member Stephanie Zimmerman is going to talk about the 5 ballot proposals that we will be voting on in November. And we also have Esmeralda Simmons, who's going to be talking about redistricting, and we all need to be familiar with both those issues. I also want to mention on October 23rd, we are doing a free shredding in front of St. Gregory's at Brooklyn and St. John's from 9 to 12. And I'm going to ask Fior, if at all possible, to post those things in the chat so people can see them and take that information down. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is Fior Ortiz Joyner. I posted the link to the China's General Meeting, the registration on the chat. As far as adding the flyers for the shredding event, I know with Zoom I can add a file, but WebEx I've never done it before. If there's a way, let me know and I'll be happy to post it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so our final part of our agenda is the public hearing item. It's the Community Board 8 capital and expense budget requests and prioritization for the fiscal year of 2023.
Madam Chair, before we have, I'm sorry, we have two hands up. Ms. Gibbs, I'm not sure if your hand is a new hand up or it's not lowered from last time. And I also have Ms. Mohammed who has her hand up. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I lowered mine, Ms. Young. Thank
Ms.
you for
Gibbs?
reminding me. Thank you. I lowered it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Ms.
Okay.
Mohammed?
This is a time for announcements, correct, Chairwoman?
Not really. I'm good. After I do this part, then you can make announcements.
Okay, I'll wait till
That's
you
okay.
finish and I'll do announcement.
Great, thank you. So this is the public hearing statement, as I said, for budget requests and prioritization for the fiscal year of 2023. So the public hearing statement, in response to tonight's budget request, keep in mind that starting in May and extending through the end of July, the district office sends mailings, emails, and surveys to residents requesting assistance in discovering what is needed in the community. Once the information is compiled, we submit our items to the community for review during a public hearing, which is what's taking place tonight. It is here that additional requests can be taken from the floor by those in attendance. Additionally, this public hearing serves the purpose of assisting the board in prioritizing, what is submitted. We thank you for your submissions, but I do want to point out that many of them were complaints. So going forward, we ask that you convert those complaints to requests so that we can include them and prioritize them in the final budget request submission. As of 5:30 this evening, we have not received any registrations to speak at this public hearing regarding the budget request items. So if you have any additional items that you would like to submit, please email them to the board no later than October 22nd. Okay, so we also rely on our committees to discuss what types of programs are needed in their general coverage areas. Therefore, our budget items are a compilation of what was submitted to the district office and what the office staff recognizes is needed in the community based on questions and complaints received during the course of the year. We reach out to the community for input because we understand that different demographics and circumstances call for different solutions. So I'm going to ask Deborah Young to start with the budget and expense report.
Ms. Weatherspoon, I think Ms. Mohammed is starting.
Oh, she is starting? Okay, sorry.
Ms. Mohammed starting, then Ms. Young, then Ms. Granville.
Ms. Granville, okay, thank you, Ms. George.
Okay, so for healthcare, human services needs and requests, the expenses to create or promote programs that destigmatize mental health problems and encourage treatment. And that's to DOH Mental Health, the Department of Health and Mental Health. Provide greater services to reduce rodent population. And that's also that request expenses to DOH-MH. Facilities and programs for older New Yorkers. The expenses to enhance educational and recreational programs for seniors, primarily in the field of computer literacy and services. And that goes to DIFTA. Enhance home care services to include not only basic care and assistance, but also for interactive conversation and companionship to prevent the ails of isolation. And that also goes to DIFTA. Increase transportation services capacity, especially for those that live alone and have minimal contact with the outside world. Again, that is a request for DIFTA. Enhance elder abuse programs, increase outreach efforts, and initiate public service announcements to inform seniors of their options and services should they ever come face to face with elder abuse. Increase public awareness programs to help people identify the signs and signals of elder abuse. The expense, expand or enhance educational programs for adults, financial education and planning for less economically advantaged households, that's HRA and DSS, provide, expand, or enhance job training and internship opportunities beyond those living in NYCHA housing and receiving cash assistance. Domestic violence services and awareness, increase tenant protections, especially as they relate to evictions due to lost income via the COVID pandemic. Provide incentives to reduce rent burdens for residents unable to cope with financial losses. And for capital, it's provide more housing for extremely low and low income households, the ELA households. Provide more housing for special needs households, senior citizen housing, and for people transitioning out of homeless shelters. Increase energy efficiency and environmental performance of housing developments, and that's NYCHA.
Okay.
And those are all the healthcare and human services needs and requests.
Thank you, Ms. Muhammad.
Shall I proceed?
Young.
Okay. Services and programming related to educational facilities and programs. Capital, renovate or upgrade elementary school 243 located at 1580 Dean Street. That's to the School Construction Authority. Provide a new PA system, new classroom doors, a new cafeteria floor, new curtains for the auditorium, and a new gymnasium floor. Renovate or upgrade Middle Intermediate School MS 584 located at 130 Rochester Avenue, again to the School Construction Authority. Provide new electrical systems throughout the building, modernize, update the auditorium, provide new tables for the lunchroom, install new doors with locks, upgrade pipes, water system in the building. Expense, expand or improve nutritional programs. For example, school meals to combat obesity, that's Department of Ed. Improve and enhance educational quality, remote learning capacity, and technological abilities in the school. Provide additional teacher training to accommodate changes in the educational style due to the COVID pandemic. Increase educational resources in K-12 schools to accommodate different learning modalities for students during the COVID pandemic. Services for Youth, that's Department of Youth and Community Development. Expense, provide, expand, or enhance after-school programs for elementary school students, DYCD. Provide, expand, or enhance street outreach services for runaway and homeless youth, especially LGBTQ youth, DYCD. Provide, expand, or enhance skills, training, and employment services for high school students at risk of dropping out, DYCD. Provide, enhance, or increase programs for youth that does not require them to go to a brick and mortar. Thank you.
Can I say
Thank you.
something? I'm sorry, but the junior high school that y'all have there, the number is wrong. It's MS
Excuse
898.
me. I'm sorry. Who's speaking?
I'm sorry, it's Lisa Atkinson. The
Yes, Ms.
junior high
Atkinson.
school, the junior high school that y'all have in that report, is actually wrong. 584 was closed. It's MS 898, the Brooklyn Green School. At that location that shares PS 335, 584 was the junior high school that was used previously and it got closed down. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. Now, is Ms. Granville present?
Yes, she's here. She's on
She
mute.
is. Wonderful. Okay, so Ms. Granville, can you continue? Finish us out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Policing and crime, NYPD, expense. Improve and enhance community policing. Assign additional staff to address specific crimes, for example, drug, gang-related vice, etc. Need for undercover officers to assist with the growing gang population on the eastern end of the district. Vice officers to address the increasing sex trafficking operations in CB8. Undercovers are needed to infiltrate drug rings and close drug houses down. Increase resources for youth crime prevention programs. Do an analysis of youth crime by precinct and fund programs in those areas with high rates of youth crime. Under NYCHA, install solar panels on NYCHA developments and other electrical improvements. Sanitation, expense. Increase enforcement of illegal dumping laws. Increase awareness of property owner responsibilities for street cleanliness / increase fines and fine collection for scofflaws. Increase enforcement of canine waste laws. For land use under the Department of City Planning, DCP, expense, provide funding for the environmental impact statements, EIS, for the M-Crown zone. Under economic development, expense, increase resources for small businesses to cope during the COVID pandemic. Do you want me to read the last one as well? Parks and recreational facilities? Okay. Parks and recreational facilities and programming under parks, expense. Enhance park safety through more security staff, parks enforcement personnel or PEP officers. Improve trash removal and cleanliness in parks and playgrounds. Provide greater forestry services, including street tree maintenance in District 8.
Thank you very much. Okay, so with this public hearing statement regarding our budget requests, I'm asking for a motion.
Yes, this is Gail. I make a motion that the full board vote on the final submission of the budget document and give the district office the authority to use the information gathered at tonight's hearing and via email submission to prioritize the top 40 capital and top 25 expense items.
Do I hear a second?
Second that motion, Tamika Gibbs.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
I'm going to assume the hands that's still up or just haven't been lowered. Ms. Atkinson and Ms. Muhammad, your hands are still up, but I don't know if there are new questions. I see Mr. Todd has his hand up now.
Yeah, I was just curious, is this report available, published, written format somewhere?
Ms. George?
We emailed it to all the board members today, as well as the mailing list. You should have gotten it today.
Today, got it, thanks.
Any more questions?
I have a question. This is Ethel Tyus.
Yes, Ms. Tyus.
Can we add an expense item to ask DEP to clean the catch basins and the commercial strips?
What I'm going to ask you to do is to email that to the district office. Okay.
That was in the survey I submitted.
Okay, so so it's noted. They have it.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Saunders has his hand up.
Well, the question was answered already. I just want to make sure I can make some more submissions before August 22nd, I believe.
Second. You have you yes.
October.
October, yes. That would be everyone has the opportunity until October 22nd to submit. So thank you for that, Mr. Saunders. Okay, can we have a roll call, please?
Okay, Carmicia Allison.
Yes.
Thank you. Glenda Andrews.
Yes.
Thank you. Desmond Atkins. Lisa Atkinson.
Yes.
Thank you. Princess Ben James. Miss James. Julia Boyd. Gail Branch Muhammad.
Yes.
Thank you. Jerry Buchanan. John Buckholz. Robert Callahan.
Yes.
Thank you. Nora Daniel. Aisha Dotson. Diane Duke. Kevin Farley.
Yes.
Thank you. Andrea Ferris.
Yes.
Thank you. Fred Frazier. Drew Gabriel.
Yes.
Thank you. Tamika Gibbs.
Yes.
Thank you. Najani Granville.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. Igenie Harris Blendman. Marva Henry.
Yes.
Thank you. Zerzima Jordan.
Yes.
Thank you. Regina Kinsey. Frances Langley.
Yes.
To unmute Regina Kinsey, so you may have to come back to her.
Okay. Sarah Lazar.
Yes.
Thank you. Murray Lemaine. Elaine Mahoney. Kwasi Menza.
Yes.
Thank you, Miss Mahoney. Kwasi Menza. Calvis Mickelsteins.
Yes.
Thank you. Elisa Nozenzo. Fiora Ortiz Joyner.
Yes.
Thank
Sorry,
you.
Alicia Nozenzo, yes.
Thank you. Robert Puka. Yaya Raji. Celine Rosado. Adam Sachs. Brian Saunders.
Yes.
Thank you. Meredith Staten. Audrey Tate Hall.
Yes.
Thank you. Mark Thurton.
Yes.
Thank you. Greg Todd. Ethel Tyus.
Yes.
Thank you. Gib Vaconi. Eves Villas. Kimberly Watson.
Sure.
Thank you. Irsa Weatherspoon.
Yes.
Thank you. Robert Witherwax.
Yes.
Thank you. There is a vicious echo. I'm sorry. Deborah Young.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes 26 in favor.
Diane Duke said yes.
Thank you, Miss Duke. 27 in favor. And is there a vote for? Is there a vote for
What was Miss Kenzie's vote?
I didn't hear. I just came back to her. Thank you, Miss Kinsey. So I got yes for Diane Duke and yes for Miss Kinsey. Thank you.
Greg abstains.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Todd. So it's no longer unanimous. And I just want to remind the board members and the community that this document is published every year. We revisit it twice a year. The next time we will revisit it is in February or March when we vote on the agency responses. The full document is available on the Department of City Planning's website. It is available every year. We also put the PDF on the board's website.
Thank you, Ms. Neal. What was the final vote on that?
Give me 1 second. Sorry. It is
Other question, Madam Chair.
28 in
Ethel's
favor,
here.
1 abstain.
Can
I'm
you
sorry.
repeat that, please, Ms. Neal?
28 in favor, 1 abstain.
28
Okay.
and 1 abstention. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yes, Ms. Tyus?
Yes, this is for fiscal year 22, correct?
I thought she said
23.
2023.
23.
23, thank you.
Just
Sure.
point of clarity, on the document, it says these are the items that were submitted in 2020. That is the calendar year 2020. That was the budget and fiscal year of 2022. Since we have a lot of members that get confused by the 1 to 2 year leap, we keep it at the calendar year that the board submitted the document.
Thank you, Ms. Neal. I just want to circle back to Ms. Muhammad that had a comment that she wanted, or a statement.
That's okay. Thank you.
Great, okay. All right, I'm sorry?
I do have a question.
Yes, Ms. Young.
If there's a way, Julia, that a PDF can be put in the chat. Fiora was trying to post the information about Crown Heights North Association, and she said she wasn't able to do it. So I'm not so sure if that's possible for her to post it in the chat.
I'm not familiar how to do
I
that.
don't know about that. I know that
Yeah.
can be done in Zoom. I don't know if there's a document sharing in events in WebEx, but in regular meetings, you can share documents.
Okay, thank
But
you.
if she emails it to us, we'll make sure we will e-blast it out to the mailing list.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I just want to remind everyone that due to Veterans Day, CB8's board meeting will be held on Wednesday, November the 11th at 6:15 via WebEx. Details will be on the website.
Madam Chair, I think it's the 10th.
I think it's the 10th.
10th?
I was just getting ready to say that. Thank you. So it's the 10th, next month, Wednesday. Okay, so if we don't have any more questions,
we do have
thank
a
you
question.
so much.
We
Oh,
have
we
a
do?
question
Okay.
from Ms. Gibbs.
Yes.
It's not a question. It's just, are we open for open comments before we close the
yes.
meeting?
Yes.
That's what I was waiting for. I just want to
Yes.
say, I just want to say thank you to everyone on the community board, in the community office, in the community board office, as well as the community in general. I have had the pleasure of attending another local boards meeting. Thank you. Thank you for everybody. Thank you for everything everyone has taught me over the past 12 plus years. Thank you for conducting business as usual. No matter what the situation is and what's thrown at the community board, we always rise to the occasion. Thank you. That's all I can say is thank you. So we are.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's all.
Thank you for that, Ms. Gibbs. There's
appreciate
a difference in community boards. Once you go around visiting the boards, we don't all operate the same. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
I went to a community board, and the first thing the person said, well, where's the rest of the community? They had a webinar kind of situation to where you would only see the district manager and the chairperson, and that was it. Really weird, but thank you again. Thank you for all the boards, all the chair people, all the committees, everyone who comes out, the community who comes out to voice their opinion and their concerns about the community where they live. Thank you. That's all. I'm going to keep it nice. And Ms. Wedderburn was there as well because she can attest to what I witnessed.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gibbs.
I see Gail's hand up. Gail, did you want to say something else? Greg, I see your hand up.
Put something in the chat, so I hope people have time to look at it. Again, that's the Doggone Halloween Parade on Dean Street between Nostrand and New York on October 30th. So all of you dog lovers, please come out, bring your pets, and take part in the doggy parade. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Muhammad. Okay, so I'm going to adjourn the meeting. I thank you guys for attending.
Madam Chair?
And yes.
I'm sorry, this is Fiora Joyner. I just wanted to say that, let Gail know that I'm sending everything to the board and it could be e-blasted to everyone, including the doggy parade. That was
wonderful.
Thank you, Fiora.
Thank you. All right, until next time, everyone, be safe and enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night. Bye. Good night.
Stay safe, be well, bye.